Hi, my name is Coldbeer, and let's start with Sumerian 6.
In this real-time tactical adventure, you will embark on a journey across multiple continents during the Second World War. You will dispose of your enemies by using each team member's unique set of abilities and save the world in the process, or not. As you delve deeper into the sinister Nazi plot, you'll encounter occult scientific weapons and ancient Sumerian artifacts, able to shift the tides of the Second World War into a not-so-nice direction. You know, a grim future awaits you should the Nazis be victorious. So do your best to prevent that dark timeline from coming true. So because simple Nazis just lost the war in our timeline, here you will encounter something way more evil.
More evil than Nazis? You sure?
Good point. Not more evil, but more powerful. Heavily armed, mutated, and supernaturally charged forces will be thrown against you and will put your strategic abilities and dexterity to the ultimate test. So if you like alternative history, stealth, adventure, and Nazis, no, that sounds wrong. If you like alternative history, stealth, adventure, and stories involving Nazis, the game is definitely for you. The Captain. This retro-inspired adventure game has around 90% positive reviews on Steam, so stay with me, that is not a very common thing. Here you are, the Captain, and a Space Fleet science officer, lost on the other side of the galaxy. Very Star Trek-ish. Dark forces are en route to Earth to destroy our planet, and you are carrying the only thing that can stop them. Is that a magic bowl of potato salad? You will never know if you don't play. Anyway, you have to race back home across the galaxy. You like Earth intact. You know, here the best beer in the galaxy is being made, and also for some other not so important reasons. On your journey you will meet new friends and make new enemies, although you won't be able to save everyone, and only you will decide who will be left behind and which civilizations will you save or destroy along the way. The decisions are all up to you. You are awesome, but obviously have too much power. There is a protest happening somewhere against you in the galaxy, with purple-haired people cursing you, that's no doubt.
Nioh 2, the Complete Edition. Here you can create your own original protagonist and embark on an adventure that will take you through devastated lands across Japan during the Sengoku period. Much like the previous title, which gained a lot of praise from fans and critics alike, Nioh 2 contains an original story and a lot of action. This edition includes all the content from Nioh 2 along with all 3 DLC expansions: The Tengu's Disciple, Darkness in the Capital, and The First Samurai. You can also play the game at 120 frames per second if your monitor is a beast. Also, it supports 4K, ultra-wide screens, and so on. People on Steam are talking that this game is a masterpiece, well-balanced title with great replayability value, but definitely not for those who suck at Souls-like games. But if you suck at Souls-like games, I have wonderful advice for you. Stop sucking, get good. See how easy it is?
No rest for the wicked. The game is still in early access, so it is kinda rough on the edges, but it is made by developers of Ori and the Blind Forest, so not by some rookies. So here the year is 841, and as word of the king's death echoes throughout the kingdom, the crown passes to his arrogant yet untested son. So there are some rebels wanting to cut his head off. The land is on the brink of civil war. That sucks, but it can always suck even more. So an unholy plague not seen for 1,000 years has returned as well. What a coincidence, right? So the plague sweeps across the land, corrupting everything and everyone it touches. In all this turmoil, you embark on an adventure. Well, on a task, to be fair, because you are sworn to defeat the plague at any cost. Well, it's always better to be a warrior than a civilian in a war, so kudos for you. You got this. Or not. Knowing you, probably not. No offense.
Hitman: World of Assassination. This is probably the best Hitman experience possible nowadays. Here you'll visit more than 20 different locations, unlock new gear, travel a living and breathing world filled with intriguing characters and lethal opportunities. With this bundle you will get Hitman 3 game, with 6 DLCs, VR mode, and access to all Hitman 1 and Hitman 2 missions. People on Steam are saying that this is an amazing experience, very sandbox-ish, and will provide many hours of fun, although it has one big flaw. You know, every witness asked about
Have you seen anything strange?
will tell you about a tall, bald man with a barcode tattoo. Most of the time the tattoo is visible for everyone. It's really dumb. Honestly, have you seen anything stranger this week? If yes, share in the comments. Spill your tea.
Clash: Artifacts of Chaos. From the very first moment I saw the game, I instantly realized that I'm seeing something great, something far beyond the games I'm used to. The art style here is awesome, and the game is great as well. I should probably start by saying that this is a story-rich, Souls-like RPG adventure game. You play as Pseudo, a master of martial arts who lives as a recluse in the strange land of Xenozoic. When you cross paths with a small creature whose mysterious powers have attracted the attention of some evil lady, you decide to protect him, unaware that much greater forces are involved. But you don't care because you are awesome and everyone else just suck. They don't know that yet, so you are eager to bring wisdom. And by wisdom I mean bloodshed and broken bones. Your fists and speed are your greatest weapons. You will attack, dodge, stun, block or counter a parry to land a special attack. You can even switch to a first-person view to perform unique techniques. Each time it's up to you to seize the occasion to achieve a victory. If this is not a hidden gem in its truest sense, I don't know what is. If you like difficult and trippy games, this is a must. Dead Space. Of course, I'm speaking about the recent remaster of the game, which is a fantastic game just like the original Dead Space, but I can almost assure you that if you played it a long time ago, you won't spot any difference. I completed the first game more than 10 years ago, and when I watched someone play the remastered version, honestly, I couldn't see anything new. Yeah, the graphics now are shiny and beautiful, but it is exactly how I remember the original version. So the remake is a great game on two occasions. First, if you want to replay the game, and not because there is a remaster available, but because of the game itself. And second, if you never played it. In that case, I can assure you this is one of the best horror shooter games I ever played. Well, it's more like a thriller with a bunch of jump scares, but the atmosphere is amazing. The surroundings of the space station are made incredibly well, and the necromorphs are really creepy. Be sure that your mental balls are strong and hairy. 10 cold beers out of 10. Serial Cleaner. Have you ever wanted to clean a crime scene? Yeah, I thought so, I'm not so eager as well. But this game lets us dive into this grim and, by the way, very well paid job. Maybe after playing you will reconsider your career choices. By the way, it's not some official job. Oh no, you work for the mafia and clean crime scenes for them. See, I said that this job is well paid. A good cleaner never gets caught, so you have to make sure you get in, clean up and get out without leaving a trace of evidence for the police to find. Game features a funky 70s inspired soundtrack, real-world data to modify levels according to the current time of day and your whereabouts, full story campaign and even challenge modes. People on Steam are saying that this is simple and chill game with very unique style, although be prepared to rage a little when you will get caught right before finishing the mission. Singularity. Here you'll be a witness of so-called Singularity event that fractured time and threatened the world as we know it. Some say it was the day when everyone forgot the potato salad recipe. That bent time and space, a real apocalypse happened. So here, armed with powerful advanced weaponry and the experimental time manipulation device, you'll fight enemies from the past, the present and the abominations caught in somewhere in between. With the help of this magical device, you will age enemies to dust in seconds, manipulate objects outside the laws of gravity and degrade things or renew them to their pristine form. You will be a real time bender here.
I control time and space.
Yeah, like that. 8-bit Hordes. Basically, this is a Warcraft if it would be made using the Minecraft engine. You'll find two factions, the Dark Orcs and their undead friends versus those annoying humans, dwarves, elves and all that puny stuff in general. You will collect resources, build up and defend your base, amass your army of evil or, you know, pathetic good, and ultimately crush your opponents, or be crushed by them. Game offers 24 offline campaign missions, 12 co-op missions to play with your friends and 10 multiplayer maps that support up to 8 trolls online, literally and figuratively. Although honestly you will never see 8 players online. I'm not even talking about this amount of players in multiplayer, so if you want some player versus player battles, you're gonna need a friend. But don't worry, AI is present as well. It has multiple difficulty options, also it can play in a team with you or destroy you. It is quite capable of doing that, believe you me. 8-bit Hordes is easy to understand and is user-friendly in general. If you like RTS games, there is no doubt that you may like this one as well. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2. More than 20 years ago I bought some PC gaming magazine and it had a CD with a Tony Hawk 2 demo inside. You know, at that time nobody had internet, so CDs that came with journals kept us up to date. I installed the demo and super unexpectedly it became one of the best games I have ever played. I played and played and played and my friends came over and we played it together as well. We mastered the art of tricks without even seeing a full version of the game. Yeah, they really knew how to make great demo versions back then, that's for sure. But when the full version finally arrived, I couldn't afford it because I was poor and had no money. And I'm not talking about the original version, I have a pirated CD in mind that at the time cost around 20 liters in Lithuania. To put things in perspective, I have to say that my mama's salary was around 300 liters per month and the original CD of Tony Hawk 2 was priced around 200 liters, so only millionaires around here could afford those back then. So sadly this is all the experience I have with Tony Hawk, the best demo I have ever played. And I have to mention that I never play sports games, maybe I should start. And this version, according to people who actually played it, is one of the best remakes ever made. Around 90% of positive reviews can confirm that with ease. Slime Rancher 2. It seems that the second part of Slime Rancher is just as a hit as the first one, and more than 90% of positive reviews won't let me lie. Here you'll continue the adventures as you journey to Rainbow Island, a mysterious land brimming with ancient technology, unknown natural resources, and an avalanche of wiggling, jiggling new slimes to discover. As you attempt to unravel the island's secrets and uncover its true purpose, you will build, ranch, and farm within a beautiful conservatory whose sparkling glass walls give you a full view of the prismatic paradise you now call home. So collect slimes never seen before on the far range. You know, like the bouncy cotton slime or the aquatic angler slime or a potato salad slime. Well, no, that even sounds wrong. No slime on my potato salad, please.
Fight Grab.
Mortal Kombat is for the weak. If you want to become a really strong and respectful warrior, there is another way better game for that. You may think that I am joking, but
Fight Grab
has 93% of positive reviews, so it's officially better than most fighting games ever released. You will take control of a simulated, physics-powered grab and fight various opponents with one basic rule: flip your enemy over to win. Take advantage of a wide range of equipment to beat your opponent down. Claws, swords, guns, armor, jet engines and more. Maybe a dildo, I don't know. And you have to stop your opponent's blade with your pincers, run along walls and generally go full-on grab with all the fighting techniques at your disposal. This game is just like you always wanted fight games to be, but probably never realized.
Fight Grab.
Will end that ravenous fighting game hunger you were feeling for years.
Or maybe not, I don't know, maybe you are just a monkey on a branch in the zoo and you just like how my channel sounds.
The Invincible. The Invincible was written by Polish writer Stanisław Lem, the author of the very well-known Solaris. In general, I think that The Invincible should have been a movie, but I will take a game as well. So the plot of the book, I will try to tell you without spoilers, is revolving around an expedition who has landed on a distant desert planet, much like a Mars, but an itsy-bitsy teeny-weeny more alive one. And then bad things start to happen. Duh. All I can say that this plot is not a usual one where you land on some creepy rock and then some monsters start snatching your crew one by one. It's not like that. If you remember Solaris, you can realize that Stanisław Lem tried to avoid clichés and think of something more intriguing. So I can promise you that The Invincible is not a cliché story. It is really good, less psychological if you compare it to Solaris and more action-oriented. Also, if you played Firewatch, you will see where they took the inspiration from. Rage. The first Rage game is very Falloutish and more loved by players than Rage 2. You know, like your siblings are more loved than you and your family. So Rage is an interesting look into life after the end of everything. And that end came along with an asteroid. Not a very ingenious plot, but I guess still better love story than a zombie apocalypse. You know, there are hundreds of more interesting ways to end the world than these cliché scenarios. For example, beer could become sentient and take over the world, or cats suddenly mutate into psychics and when they are hungry, and that's all the time, they make you dance until you drop dead.
Dance, human, dance for me, meow meow.
I don't know, the possibilities of world ending are actually endless. Why stick to like 7 most boring ones? So here you emerge into this vast wasteland to fight against bandit gangs, mutants and the Authority, an oppressive government regime that has a special interest in you in particular. Dishonored: Death of the Outsider. Here you are a supernatural assassin with one important mission. You have to kill a godlike figure called the Outsider. As you can imagine, killing someone who is actually godlike is not an easy job even for a supernatural assassin. You'll have to journey deep into the underbelly of the city, where you will unravel some of the lost secrets. Along the way you will infiltrate underground fight clubs and black magic cults, and then retrieve... yeah, the rest of the game's description is plain spoilers on Steam, avoid reading it. Anyway, as you hunt down the Outsider, you will face off against a new cast of enemies along the way. Armed with your weapons, gadgets and abilities, you will have to take down deadly foes by accepting contracts to find and eliminate optional targets throughout your mission. So you are an actual hitman here, well, hitwoman more accurately, and the game has a very positive review score on Steam, so it's obviously not a bad game. DEATHLOOP. It is a first-person shooter where two rival assassins are trapped in a mysterious time loop on a remote island, doomed to repeat the same day for eternity. Your only chance for escape is to end the cycle by assassinating 8 main targets before the day resets. Every new loop is your opportunity to change everything. You will use the knowledge you gain from each attempt to change your playstyle, so it is fair to say that it is a roguelite game and may not be appealing to everyone. Here you can choose to stealthily sneak through levels or jump into the fight. You know, guns blazing, shouting war cries and profanities. In each loop you'll discover new secrets, gather intel on your targets as well as on the island, and expand your arsenal. You will be armed with a host of otherworldly abilities and incredible weaponry. Although I must warn you that the game's biggest strength is also its biggest weakness. People on Steam are saying that the game is repetitive.
Yeah, who could have thought?
The Evil Within 2. Here you'll play as Detective Sebastian Castellanos, who has lost everything. Well, that is written in the game's description, but I honestly hope that he didn't lose his ding-dong. You know, that would suck. So anyway, you were given a chance to save your daughter, and have to descend into the nightmarish world. Horrifying threats emerge from every corner as the world twists and wraps around you. Here you can craft traps, sneak, run and hide, or try to battle the horrors with limited ammo. Sounds familiar, right? Yep, if you are a fan of Resident Evil, the second part of The Evil Within will hit you straight into your feelings. It's a really great game with more than 90% of positive review score. Metamorphosis. You wake up one morning to find that you are rather inconveniently transforming into a tiny bug, while your friend Joseph is being arrested for reasons unknown. Well, probably for swinging his ding-dong in public place once again. But, you know, he's your friend, you don't judge. So to save him and find the answers you seek, you must embark on a journey through a world which, like yourself, has become twisted and unfamiliar. What once seemed like mundane dwellings have become an expansive obstacle course, and now you'll have to chart your path through nooks and crannies that exist within the cracks of civilization. You will have to use your wits to unravel the truth and regain the life you once knew. Or not. You might just be a crazy wacko after all. I don't know. Also, you can download and play a free demo as well. Doom Eternal. Definitely, this is one of the most entertaining first-person shooter games ever. Here, Hell's army has invaded Earth, and you must show those puny demons the way home. And by the way home, I mean you have to splash their intestines all over the place, walk in their blood, and be as awesome as humanly possible. There are only a few games with such entertaining combat as Doom Eternal, but it also has a big flaw almost everybody hates. That is platforming. Yeah, here you occasionally have to jump over rivers of lava, climb walls, and make precision leaps over and over again. That stuff is completely not cool when you play in the first person. I don't know why John Romero decided to ditch the Doom franchise and instead went and made Empire of Sin with only 49% of positive reviews on Steam, but I can feel with my butt that if he was in charge, the platforming part of Doom Eternal would be gone. Anyway, I do recommend the game. The price is fantastic. The Saboteur. A bit older game, but worthy of your attention without a doubt. The plot is set in an open-world Paris. You can climb the Eiffel Tower, snipe from Notre Dame Cathedral, and brawl on the Champs-Élysées as you sabotage your enemies. You will have to fight, climb, and prowl through the dark alleys, rooftops, burlesque houses, and seedy streets. Motivated by retribution and armed with tactics of sabotage, you will blow up zeppelins, derail trains, implode bridges, destroy armored tanks, and level enemy facilities in the name of vengeance in Nazi-occupied Europe. Here being the Saboteur is all about attacking while staying unnoticed. You will get your mission intel at underground clubs and cabarets, eliminate your adversaries with stealth attacks, disguise, distractions and explosives. Also master a variety of weapons, automobiles and skills to sabotage enemy operations. It's a fantastic game, absolute cult classic and a must-play for every action fan. Orcs Must Die 3. This is probably the most entertaining tower defense game I have ever played, and that is because here you are involved in the action as a third-person character. You actually run and shoot, hack and slash, and also you place various traps and turrets, so it feels very personal, and because of that you are not just a passive observer, you are actually the scariest turret for your enemies. And your enemies here are obviously orcs. Wave after wave they will swarm your castle, and after the end of every wave you will realize that you were holding your breath all the time. Relax, it's just a game. You can play solo or two-player co-op, arm yourself with a massive arsenal of weapons and slice, burn and zap hordes of repugnant orcs. The game is incredibly fun and at first seems easy.
Like your sister.
Oh come on, how dare you! Oh, but all this easiness is just a deception. Later games will turn into incredibly hard try again and again battles. One misplaced trap, one missed shot and you know, you're dead. Anyway, as I've said, this is an extremely entertaining game and I can recommend it without any doubts. Kill orcs and relax. And now thank you for watching, have a nice day and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Subscribe to